Cheers, y'all. I am introing this video from an undisclosed location, aka my closet, because I've been doing a lot of work preparing a new studio backdrop or background for all of my YouTube videos and had to try to build up a little bit of suspense before the big reveal. But without further ado, let's take a look at what I came up with. Cheers, y'all. How's it going? The studio wall display, whatever you want to call it, is finally done, and I am so excited to unveil it. I've been collecting so much like beer memorabilia, running displays, etc. over time, and just haven't had the space to display it. And I had this idea in my head for so long of how I wanted it to be the backdrop of my videos, have all of this stuff in the background behind me. I've been picturing it for so long and I'm so happy with how it came together. Very excited to show it off and just kind of wanted to walk through sort of some of the stuff that I have up there, the idea behind the design, and give you a closer look at each piece. But the overall kind of goal behind the design was to start sort of beer focused on one side and then slowly transition to the more running focused. Turns out I think I have a lot more beer memorabilia than running memorabilia, and also a lot of my running displays are also beer themed, so it's more of purely beer on one side and then a transition to a mix of running and beer. But you're in for a bumpy ride. I'm just gonna carry the tripod around and kind of show you each piece. Just some beer posters. I have a bunch more of these. I'm trying to figure out where I'm gonna display. Huge fan of this. This was actually a new addition that I got for Christmas this year, and I think it's my favorite beer poster that I have. I have like a lot of old advertisements for different beer styles, things of that nature. I am particularly excited about the neon open sign. I've had this since either the end of high school or the beginning of college. I'm not sure exactly when, but this used to hang in my bedroom at home and has just been in storage forever, because once you are no longer a college student, what are you gonna do with a neon open sign? And so I'm so happy that I finally have a use for it. Up here, we've got some Montauk Brewery crowlers. Huge fan of Montauk Brewing. My wife and I love taking the train out there on occasion. It's about like a 3.5 hour train ride. So go out for the day, enjoy some beers, and then get some crowlers to bring home. Keeping with the beer themes, this was on display at our old apartment, my taps display, or one of my taps displays. Unfortunately, I think during my videos, it'll a lot of times be blocked by me, but huge fan of just the variety of styles of beer taps. So I've collected a handful of a mix of kind of antique beer taps and current beer taps over time, set those up on the display here. And then of course, my lovely metal display that my sister actually made for me one year. That's got, of course, the I Run On Beer name across the top. And then for this display, picked some of my favorite medals, favorite races. Rock and Roll New Orleans, actually have a couple New Orleans medals up here. Broad Street, again, 2 medals for Broad Street, a race that's very important to my family and I. Mohican, because it's one of my favorite races, but also want the 50 miler medal up there as a reminder that I'm not at the 100 yet. I know it's coming and it's only a matter of time, but had to put up the Mohican 50 miler finisher from this year. Continuing to move over, we've got another much larger beer display up here. Now that I've been able to hang it up, I found out that I have exactly the right number of tap holders for the number of taps that I have, no more, no less. So this is all of my taps on display finally. And then of course, just 3 medals that I specifically wanted to feature. I've got the Smutty Nose Half Marathon. That's my current half marathon PR. I think I'm gonna I might rotate these out for specific races, but the ones that I just picked out as most meaningful right now, that one just because of how perfectly that race experience went. Of course, have to have New York City on here. Just a phenomenal race. Also my marathon PR at the moment, but just that's gonna be hard to top. The overall experience of running New York City on the 50th year, coming back from COVID, hitting the PR, just an unbelievably phenomenal race. And then this is my first ever marathon, the Coastal Delaware Running Festival. Super fun marathon, huge medal. I was destroyed after that race. I don't think I've ever felt worse after a race, just in terms of how much of a beating my legs took. But that's a constant reminder of how far I've come. And just, of course, you always remember your first. So gotta keep the Coastal Delaware Running Festival marathon medal up there on the wall. And then the last medal display. So this is one that I've had, again, in the closet forever, just because I didn't have anywhere to display it. But love that it's got the bib holders on it as well. Hung up the bibs that I was able to find when I first put this up, but then of course I have a huge stack of other bibs that need to go in here as well. And then just the rest of my medals collection. And then just a beer tray on the wall up there. Again, I've got more of those to hang up that I am very excited to hopefully eventually display soon. But that is the new studio design, the new studio wall. I hope you're as excited about it as I am. Like I said, I have just had this vision in my head for so long, and I'm just so excited to see it come together, and looking forward to featuring it in all of my future videos, and looking forward to kind of rotating out some of the stuff. Like I said, moving medals around, maybe eventually getting some more taps and kind of picking what we're gonna put out. We'll just see how it goes. But I finally have a dedicated studio space, my backdrop wall. Next up, maybe get some lighting just so that I'm a little bit brighter on the front. But I feel like we're off to a great start, and just looking forward to filming plenty more videos in this spot. So thank you for tuning in, sticking around, what have you. I hope you enjoy the studio, and I am looking forward to seeing you the next time. Until then, cheers.